Well, well, well. I don't know if you know this or not, but the kids only ride electric scooters. Bikes are dead. The fate of child obesity has been sealed. The children of today will be the fattest the world has ever seen. It's in Revelation. And I saw a male child rise from the sea with 7 fat rolls that look like breasts. Meanwhile, I went to the store to buy 3 donuts. The total was $10.37. I am not joking. Nostradamus said that men and women would sell their bodies for sugary treats. I am here to tell you that this prophecy has been fulfilled. I don't like to sell things, but when I do sell, I like to tell them everything they want to hear. Tell them that I'm only a phone call away, and that we are in business not to make money, but the sole reason is because I and the company I work for love customer service. And then once they buy, I go out of my way to never speak to them again. Anyways, I will tell you one thing that is super weird from my childhood growing up in the 80s and 90s. Every establishment where there was a quarter machine or a place where you would play the arcade and get the tickets and win the prizes, at the fairs, at the carnivals, everywhere. I mean, this entire nation was littered with Lucky Rabbit's feet. And nowadays, I guess they're plastic. But when I was growing up, they were real. They were real, man. I mean, I'm just realizing now how sick and twisted that was. Why were they killing all these rabbits? And why were they giving the feet to children? You know how many Lucky Rabbit's feet that I had? I mean, just skeleton keychains full of Lucky Rabbit's feet. Just the most that you have ever seen in your entire, just a whole giant ring. And they were all different colors. They would dye the fur different colors. You'd have some pinks, some oranges, some blue, some red, some black, some white. It was a weird time to be alive. But we never thought anything about it in the 80s and 90s. We were just like, this is the way that it is. Well, there's a special treat. There's a special treat for you today. And that is, I'm driving right now and it's raining. So you are going to have the relaxing ASMR of rain pitter-pattering on my windshield, instead of just the humming of my automobile cruising along the highways, the 2-laned highways of Nebraska. It's a soft and gentle rain. Makes me want to go out there and just dance in the puddles. Love a good rain. So cozy. I hope it lasts. Let's see, what is the temperature right now? Let me see if I can know. It's 74, so it's probably going to cool down even more. This might be the first kind of like nice fall rain. I'm a little excited. I gotta say, yeah, dude, the Lucky's Rabbit's feet. What a weird thing. We got to get to the bottom of this. You and I have to get to the bottom of this and figure out why so many rabbits were being murdered and why they were giving them to children as prizes. It's very important. Also, here's a little wisdom for you. And I'm sure that you realize this, as most people do, that no one ever changes by being forced to change. Like, you can't force people to do things. They have to want to do it on their own accord. Anytime anyone's forced against their will to do or not do something, you know what happens? Footloose. That's what happens. The pastor is like, you can't dance here. And they were trying to change Kevin Bacon. They were trying to make him a boy who doesn't dance. But there was just one problem. He was a boy that danced. And so he gets extremely angry, and he goes to a warehouse where no one can see his sins. And he slams a beer to just loosen his joints and his inhibitions. He throws the beer, the glass shatters, and he just thrusts and dances in the face of that pastor, even though they can't see him. I mean, that is one of the most incredible scenes in cinema history right there. I mean, at one time he is just circling around on a pipe, flying through the air. Like, it's like a 5-minute dance sing. I mean, just swinging away. And he's like, no one's going to stop me from dancing. I will dance. So there you go. People can't force you to do anything you don't want to do, and force you to do the things that you want to do. And if they're doing either one of those, my suggestion to you is to find a warehouse. Preferably one that people are working in. That would be ideal. And just slam a beer, throw it against the wall, garner their attention, and just start dancing like David Bowie in Labyrinth, just with pelvic thrusts in Muppets' faces. Footloose. Dude, that scene is so hysterical. I truly do love that scene. It's so funny to me. It's so incredible. It's so serious. I bet in the 80s when that movie came out and they went and saw it, they didn't even see it as comical. I bet they cried. They cried when he released the tension. Here's something that a fun fact about me. I once hired an all Spanish-speaking construction crew to take down a metal building for me, a Quonset. If you don't know what a Quonset is, they are like a half-moon, half-circle building created by, I don't know what the name of the company, if the name of the company is Culvert or if it's just a culvert. I'm drawing a blank here, but they're in Columbus, Nebraska. They actually have one there that they say was in a nuclear bomb test, and it survived, and it's up there on display. Is it true? No one knows. But I'll tell you what, the Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or whatever it's called, the one with Shia LaBeouf. Dude, I turned that movie off. When that came out, I rented it. And this was a time when there were rental stores. I went to a rental store. I rented the movie. I watched it. Obviously. And when it got to the part of Harrison Ford on a nuclear bomb testing field, and he heard like a bomb be fired at him, and he got into a refrigerator, and the bomb exploded, and it rocketed the refrigerator into the air, and then came and then flew down and bounced a bunch of times, and then he got out of it unscathed. Dude, turned it off right there. Like, I can suspend reality to some degree, but Indiana Jones exploding in a nuclear bomb and being rifled through the air in a refrigerator and living to tell about it is just not one of those things my mind is able to get past. And no more digressing. We will get back to the meat and bones of this story. Yeah, it was a Quonset, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna probably, before I was built a house, I was like, this would be perfect to turn into a house. I mean, it was huge. It was like, I think it was 30 or 40 feet wide, 60 feet long. Then I got pictures of this. I got videos of this thing. I'm going to build a house inside of it, was my thinking. Bought it from a farmer. And, at the time I was doing, making videos for a roofing company. Shout out Moose Roofing, Omaha, Nebraska. The owner, Pat Moose, he's the best. You know, roof, go to them. There you go. There's a free ad read for these dudes. And he actually let me borrow his telehandler for this job. So one of the Mexican roofing crews, I'm like, these guys could probably take apart Quonset. So I hired him. There was no translator, and it did not go well. One almost died. The rope to his harness broke. He was tied off at the top, and what happened was, like, he dropped his tool because this thing was bolted together, but on the inside you had to hold the bolt down while the person on the outside unscrewed it. Huge pain in the ass, let me tell you. And so the tool that he was using, his drill, he dropped it. It slid down, so I was walking over to go pick it up and hand it to him. And the harness broke. And he just started sliding. Just, there he slid. Straight at a tree that was cut down into the shape of a spear. I mean, speaking of Indiana Jones, I mean, this farmer, there was trees all alongside the Quonset, and he was kind enough to cut them down, but for whatever reason, he cut them down into spears. Like, instead of just going, like, horizontal across, he, like, came down with the chainsaw, like, like, from upward to downward. So you had all these trees that were then in some sort of Temple of Doom booby trap. And, I just don't think that the farmer ever fathomed. I don't think the farmer ever I tried to say ever and fathomed together. It's a little bit tricky on this rainy day. I'm going to try it one more time. I don't think the farmer ever fathomed that a man would end up sliding down the shed, doing the splits, feet flailing, legs over his shoulders like a bobsled, heading rapidly toward the tree spear. But luckily I was there and I saved him. I ran and hit him with my shoulder as hard as I could, and it moved him just enough that the spear hit his leg instead of his butthole. And then he was holding his leg and he was just screaming in pain, and I was asking if he was okay, but because of, his gasping for air and the Spanish, I had no idea what he was saying. Then the crew ran over and started speaking Spanish with him. So I asked the guy who knew just like a tad bit of English, like barely a little, what he was saying. And he just looks at me, he's like down, like looking down at him, like hunched over. And then he looks up at me and he says, "You his hero. You save butt from tree spear." And then they all started chanting hero. There was like, hero, hero, hero. And then they continued to chant as they picked up the wounded man and laid him in the back of a van. And then they pulled out like this huge pill container of opioids, I'm assuming. Gave him some of those and shut the back of the van doors. And I gotta say, I never saw the man again. But he's out there still. He's alive. Probably has a tattoo of my name on his neck, out of respect. And I ended up giving up, taking down the shed. I mean, they just weren't even listening, mainly because they couldn't, because of, the language barrier. But I'd be like, take down one sheet at a time. They tried to take down 4 giant sheets at a time. The wind caught it. It blew, got all twisted. Got all Keith sweated up in there. Twisted. And yeah, so I called the farmer and I was like, dude, I can't, like, I'm done. I'm like, can I sell? Because it was on his property. So then I just put it up for sale. Because, you know, the owner, I mean, he had cut like 86 trees into spears. I mean, our buttholes were outnumbered. They were far outnumbered. I mean, they could spear our buttholes twice over. And that right there is not cold, funky Medina, but the cold, funky truth. I don't eat cheese. I haven't ate cheese for a long time, since 2020. Since February of 2020. But I do like the crust with sauce. Like, a lot of times you go to these parties and people have pizza. So I just take the cheese off with the toppings and it's like a breadstick with marinara sauce. It does the job. I mean, people frown upon this. They frown upon it. It's like, well, isn't this my slice of pizza? They're like, what are you doing? Why are you taking off the cheese? That's wasteful. I'm like, well, I don't think it's wasteful. Like, I don't want this garbage that's on top of here that is going to cause me extreme stomach aches. And not only that, but now it is my slice of pizza. Like, you bought food for us, and now this is what I'm choosing to do with my food. I don't know what it is with pizza, but people think that it's communal or something, and that we're all sharing it, and then if they bought it for everyone, that they still have some ownership of it and they can tell me how to eat it. But you are wrong, sir. You are incredibly wrong. And yeah, at this point in time, I was at a buddy's house. He had ordered pizza, and I did that, and he was giving me a hard time. Like, you can't do that. What are you doing? You're wasting it. I'm like, dude, you bought this for everyone. Like, these are my slices. I'll take these slices. I'll throw them on the damn floor if I want to, because they're mine. Remember that. And he just wouldn't let it go. So once everyone got done eating and the rest of the pizza was, sitting out, before I left, I cut all the crust off all the pizza and put them into a bag. And I took them home and left him with crustless pizza, just like he deserved. And he called me up too. He called me up the next day. And he was like, dude, did you cut all the crust off the pizza? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And then I just sent him a picture of me sitting at the kitchen table with a big bag of crusts and me eating one of the crusts. And told him that they weren't his. I said, these are mine. I have a bunch of them saved in the freezer. I just pull them out sometimes. It was awesome. I see that Good Charlotte released some new music. And I haven't listened to any of their new songs. But when it came up in my feed and they were singing in a golf cart, I was like, I wonder if this is another anthem. Because I realized that if you're in a punk band, like, you are required by punk law to write an anthem song. Like, you have to write a song with the word anthem in it. I mean, we're talking Good Charlotte has one. Blink-182 has 3. They have an anthem trilogy. They have 3 of them. Then, I mean, the list goes on. Just look into punk bands. I don't need to sit here and name every single one of them. I mean, there's Less Than Jake, there's punk, it plus ska bands. They all have anthems. Just look into it. And I wonder why. How did that come about? Why in the 90s, the late 90s, early 2000s, did punk bands feel compelled to have anthems because they're rebellious. Just rebelling against everyone. That just made me think about how I just saw in my news feed that the Satanist, Lil Nas X, he was gallivanting, through the streets of Hollywood, I believe Ventura Boulevard, in his whitey tighties and white cowboy boots, and was arrested for apparently assaulting police officers too when they tried to arrest him. And this clip that I saw, it was like a press conference. After he got released, his dad was talking, and his dad said he's going to get the help that he needs. Keep him in your prayers. And I'm like, what do you mean keep him in your our prayers? Like, who do you want us to pray to? Surely you aren't talking about God. You have seen, your son was had shoes sold that said 666 on them and had blood in them. There's a music video of him lap dancing on the devil. Clearly keep him in your prayers. Choose a side, man. Choose a side. That's all I'm going to say about that. Remember when Ray Cyrus, he came out with the Old Town, what broke him, and then they're like, we can't play this song on the radio for whatever. They said it's not country or something like that. So then Ray Cyrus was like, I will take him under my wing. And then he did a remix with him, and for whatever reason, that allowed it to be played on country radio stations. And then it became number one. That was weird, man. Just about as weird when Ray Cyrus redid Achy Breaky Heart and shot the music video on a spaceship with a bunch of alien women in bikinis. Who thinks of this shit? Who thinks of that? And why would Ray Cyrus go, yes, this is right on theme? This is when I heard my remix of Achy Breaky Heart, I immediately thought spaceship, women in bikini, alien people. It was so weird, dude. So weird. As I get older, I realize that I really don't fart, I seep. I actually can't keep a straight face and go with that and say that because it's so gross. I need people to know that I do fart. I'm just not a seeper. But I just really like that sentence right there. I don't fart, I seep. And I say that. That's actually the reason why I'm saying that now is because that's what I say to people. If they're like, hey, did you fart? I'm like, no, I don't fart, I seep. And then it just grosses everyone out, but it's also really funny. And they laugh. So I want you to have that one. I want you to use it sometime. Next time someone asks you if you farted, just say, I don't fart, I seep. And then let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. Do you ever have an untied shoelace, but you don't feel like tying it, and you're just like, if I die, I die? You're just like, not today, shoelace. I am not going to crouch down and tie you. If you trip me and take my life, then I guess it was my final destination. Call me Devon Sawa. Call me Devon Sawa. The teen idol of the late 90s, of the Y2K. I'm going to start calling Devon Sawa. Sawa. It's like an Indian, but he's not. He's just a white blonde kid. I'm going to start calling him the teen idol of Y2K. That's how I refer to him. He's in Final Destination, in case you didn't know. He was in some other stuff, too. I'm just drawing a blank on his body of work. I knew someone once that knew him and would talk about him. Be like, yeah, I was hanging out with Devon. Granted, I don't know if it was like him, the same as being like, yeah, I have a girlfriend, she's in Canada. Because I never met Devin. I was around him quite a bit. I was going through some of my notes, and I found this note from a little while ago, and I have no idea what I was thinking, why I wrote it, but because it's so bizarre. But I have to share it. Because, like, what is this? What is this line of thinking here? These are all separate lines. The first line, old, shriveled, scarred, saggy nicotine balls. Next line, scar balls. Next line, my balls look like Scar's face from Lion King. Next line, lifted my balls instead of Simba. What was going on? And then the last line was, fashion a razor out of a mushroom comb. Dude, that's all I have to work with. Like, what are these bullet points that I wrote down? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? And this isn't like recollecting anything. This isn't making me have recollections. I really don't know what any of it means. So there is an article that's out today, and it was the top headline of the New York Post. First known AI murder. No, AI didn't murder anyone. Man, dude, headlines that people use are so disingenuous. So then the subtitle, ChatGPT fueled ex-Yahoo exec's delusions before he killed his mom. Said that it gave instructions, and then there's an article underneath it that said ChatGPT gave instructions on how to bomb arenas, make anthrax and illegal drugs, alarmed researchers reveal. I find that interesting because today I was, just for my own entertainment and comedic purposes, asked ChatGPT to give me step-by-step instructions on how I could kill a honey badger with my bare hands. And it said that it could not provide me the step-by-step instructions to kill anything. And then gave me a list of like ridiculous things like blare a horn or I don't know. They were all really dumb that I didn't even read them, so I can't even tell you about them. So I don't know like what like cheat codes this guy was using or others were when it was telling them how to bomb arenas. But my ChatGPT subscription won't even tell me how to murder a honey badger with my bare hands. Something that could be an actual threat. I don't think I have any like honey badgers around me, but I definitely have American badgers. I've seen a dead one floating in my creek. Had people hands. Real scary. Terrifying face. A nose like a person from Whoville. But it won't even give me instruction on that. So how it gave this man instructions or fueled his desire to kill his mother. I have not read the article. It was just something that I saw before I started recording, and I was just like, how is he getting that? What's the workaround? What's the workaround there? The first AI murder. Sounds like a robot or the computer like had a poltergeist or something like that. So this is my last show. My last show of recording this, you know, at the end of the day, and then uploading it at night on Monday. I'm going to switch. I'm going to start recording in the morning, and I'm going to have these out at a structured time at the time of 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. You will have the joy and the pleasure and the satisfaction of listening to the Austin Anderson Show, the voice of all generations, those that have lived, those that are living, those that will live. That's and so while you're doing your, while you're sitting in your office, while you're running errands, while you're doing laundry, whatever it is that you're doing, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be your friend. I'm going to be your companion. We'll get through. We'll get through this life together. Austin Anderson and you, a.k.a. the kid with the candy nipples. If you want to know why I call myself that, you'll have to listen to some of the first episodes to find out. So, come Monday the 1st, which I just realized is a holiday. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to record one now at all, because holidays are reserved for family, and I just don't know if I'm going to even have the time away from my family to record for 30 minutes. I think that we're going to be doing fun-filled Labor Day activities. So if not Monday, Tuesday the 2nd, 10 a.m., I will be there. I will be the wind beneath your wings. So, tune in then. We'll see ya.